Hello. Okay, so, it's been a bit. It's been a while. So, yeah, welcome back to the Budget Big Block series. Alright, when was the last video made? Last video was in, what, October? Man, it's been too long. I also need to do a stream. Sorry, it's been a while, but between college and not being able to go home, been a little bit busy. So for those of you guys that do not know, the Budget Big Block series is pretty simple concept. Basically, I'm giving myself a budget between $3,000 and $5,000 to make myself an engine that makes at the least 600 horsepower at the wheels. Now this price ceiling is solely to the engine. It does not include other mods that I need to make it work, like a transmission and differential. This is purely engine building. Another thing I need to cover. I am nowhere near a professional. Yeah, no, basically all my knowledge comes from like YouTube and no experience whatsoever. Most I've done is replace my intake manifold, which if you guys want to see that, that's video's like a year old now. Remember, if you want to follow me on this really dumb and possibly impossible journey, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. I have a Discord down below where me and all my other subscribers have a lot of great times together. I also have a Patreon as well as a t-shirt store, which, you know, for the holidays, I'm planning on putting out special design. So yeah, without any further ado, let's get into it. If you want to get into contact with me, everything's listed down in the description below. Okay, so continuing on from our journey from last time, let's see, where do we left off? I just took off the heads, yeah. And for those of you guys that don't know, it was a real rust bucket. Yeah, no, it was pretty bad, and I'm realizing that it's a good thing I'm taking this entire thing apart, because no matter what, this thing's got to go to a machine shop. All right, now that the heads are off, I was finally able to take off the front accessories, you know, the water pump, the alternator bracket, all that kind of stuff. So first things first, I decided to tackle the power steering pump since I was so close. You know, I'm not planning on replacing any of them because, you know, they're cheaper parts. I feel like I might as well go brand new, especially for that kind of stuff. So, power steering pump comes off, pretty easy, no problem there. Water pump also comes off, and I look inside, that thing is pretty rusted too, but let's be honest, I pretty much expected that now. Got it. Now, those actually went pretty smoothly. Actually, I actually didn't run into a single rusted out bolt. Also, this time around, I remembered that I have an impact wrench that I can use, so that sped things up a lot. Okay, so now those are removed. It was time to move on to bigger and better things, meaning the harmonic balancer. I realized that those bolts were pretty stuck, you know. Being in a junkyard for probably like 20 plus years probably didn't do much for this motor. I made a really, when I went down there to take off the bolts, I actually made a really kind of frustrating little discovery. Hey Jesse, you ever seen an engine do this before? It turns mostly one way, but it doesn't turn the opposite way. Like it's hitting it's like a pendulum. Look at this.
Oh yeah,
okay. It doesn't go that way, right?
Yeah,
then it stops. Like I can't crank it any more than this tiny amount.
Yeah. Oh shit.
It's a good thing I'm taking this entire thing apart.
Yeah.
Because really I just wanted to get these pistons loose so they're easier to take off.
Yeah.
I've never seen an engine do that. I was only able to go back and forth like a pendulum. Yeah, no, the engine turned, but only by like 90 degrees. Yeah, no, see at the junkyard, I spun it a little bit to make sure that I knew that it was free. But yeah, no, apparently I didn't spin it enough because all that buildup of rust and stuff was preventing the pistons from moving. Like they'd go this way and they go this way, you know, it was yeah, no, they were stuck. Now I'm not doing that today, but I can imagine that when I take them pistons out, it's gonna be a pain in the butt. doohickey off. And after that, it was time to take off the harmonic balancer, which is what this video is mostly about. Okay, so little backstory. As I said at the beginning, I have never taken apart an engine. I've done the top end, but I've never even touched a crankshaft, let alone, you know, taken one out and put it back in. Recipe for disaster, I know. When I took the front part off and I was going to the harmonic balancer, I realized I didn't have the tools for this thing. You know, see, for those of you guys that don't know, harmonic balancer it's really pressed on to the crankshaft. So with that being pressed on, that means that no matter how hard I pulled, that thing wasn't gonna come off. I needed a tool for that. Now, unfortunately, I didn't have that tool anywhere near me. Well, we'd had puller tools that were similar, but they were way too big and I couldn't adjust them any smaller. So I had to go to AutoZone. By the way, AutoZone has saved my butt so many times when it comes to working on cars because, oh man, I love their tool renting program. Is great. Like, I'm not sponsored by AutoZone. You can probably tell because I got like 2,600 subscribers. So I went to AutoZone and I rented a puller, and I was able to finally clamp it around. Now, I'd never used a puller before, so this means I spent close to like 3 hours trying to figure out how it works. Yeah, you can see the bearing right there. Oh man. Oh, that feels good to finally see that. Is that hair? Why is there hair? Look at that. Ugh. Oh wait, it's off. Look at it. Oh, that never felt so good. Alright, let's get this puppy out of here. But yeah, I know, after working at it and cussing at it and all that stuff, I finally got it off. No homo.
No homo.
Alright, so after that came off, it was time to remove the timing chain cover. When I say this engine block was dirty, I mean it was super dirty.
What do you know? The mud protected some of the paint.
Why didn't I pressure wash it before taking it in? Like, there was so much mud on this thing. I tried around the bolts for a while, and finally I realized the top part was starting to come off, so I was like, oh, finally I get to actually take this whole thing off. And I realized it was still stuck there.
Yeah.
There's an old song that was real hot one summer. If you get a chance, you before you leave today, we'll put it on.
Okay.
It's called Can I Help? Can I Help? And it's an old, it's catchy tune. And it goes on and on and on, and it says, can I help? And then it goes on and on and on. Help? Can I help? So Grandpa and Joe, and you remember Joe, right?
Yeah, I remember Joe.
You remember Grandpa a little bit? Yeah.
I hope so.
You
He's
do,
right
yeah.
in front of me.
Yeah. No, Grandpa Lito.
Oh, Grandpa Lito. I remember him a little bit, bits and pieces. There's that.
Okay. Anyway, like that, and Joe would be singing that song. Da 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 da, and then he'd come up like this to Grandpa Lito look like this. Da 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 da. Can I help? And then Grandpa Lito, then Joe would go do something else over here, and then Grandpa would come over here and go like this here. You need a little help? and then all day long, and then he'd come back and say, I know I can help. And they go all day long that way.
That infuriated Grandpa Lito.
Oh man, they was having
man with a short temper.
Anyway, we'll play that song before you leave, man.
Sounds good to me.
Is that shit coming off?
Yeah, in a minute. Man, there's a lot of dirt caked around this thing.
What's this right here? Just a pen, huh?
Yeah, this is the timing book chain cover.
Coming off though, huh?
Yeah, I got all the bolts off except one. Because this one I can't really see.
You should have turned it around here so you can get the light. No?
Nah, I think I'll be okay.
Okay.
This thing really don't...
You need some help? I can help.
I'll need your help in a minute. No telling how heavy this crank is gonna be.
Now, I kept pulling on it and tugging on it and kept like trying to jam a screwdriver underneath where it was stuck, but that thing wasn't budging. For a second, I was thinking like, oh my gosh, the dirt actually cemented it into my motor. Oh man. And wouldn't you imagine my shock when I take a flathead screwdriver down there to kind of scrape around. Don't worry, I was being careful. I didn't gouge the block or anything. But yeah, I grabbed a flathead screwdriver, kind of scrape around, and I realized I completely missed a bolt. As I said before, not a very smart man. So yeah, once I got the bolt off, I went under and I released the timing chain, and actually, believe it or not, I'm surprised the timing chain was as good shape as it looked. I was thinking of maybe even reusing it, but I figured if I'm building this thing, I might as well use a new timing chain. It's probably safer for the long run. Once I took that off, a lot of oil and water spilled out. So now it was time for the moment that I'd been waiting for. It was time to turn over the engine and take off the oil pan. Except for, like I said, since I have no teacher, I had no idea what to expect when I turned the engine over.
Word of advice. When you turn your engine over, make sure you have cardboard under there.
Yeah, no, coolant got everywhere. Oh my gosh, it was such a mess. Why do I stretch so weird? Yeah, no, cool. I'm glad that I had the forethought to put some cardboard underneath the engine beforehand, because I would have felt so bad with all that coolant going everywhere on the floor. It's not my shop. It's my granddad's paint shop. All right, so I let the coolant drain for a little bit. I turned the engine over so both piston sides were facing the ground, and then it was finally time to take off the oil pan. So things went pretty smoothly. No bolts snapping off. I broke them all, and then I put the impact wrench on and just took them out. And then it was time to see the guts. Yeah, now that the oil pan was off, it was time to get in them guts. Can I even say that on YouTube? I'm genuinely not sure. I hope we don't get demonetized for that. Hey, Mom, I know you're watching. Don't look that up. So I grab the oil pan. I start lifting up, rocking it back and forth to free it up from the gaskets. And I realize that this guy who sold this motor to me, he lied to me.
Here we go, big reveal. Oh. And it's a 2-bolt main. Oh gosh. Ugh. Oh, that is gross. That's really gross.
Yeah, no, he sold it to me saying it was a 4-bolt, and it was a 2-bolt. Now, for those of you guys that don't understand why that's important, generally, the difference between 4 bolts and 2 bolts is they're both strong, but a 4-bolt can handle much higher RPMs than a 2-bolt. Now, at first, I was so ticked off that this is the case because I wanted to rev this thing high. Now, granted, when I took that off, I did not know. I thought it, okay. So a little bit of context. I've only worked with 350s. I've never worked with a big block Chevy before. I thought it was similar to the 350s where if you had a 2-bolt main versus a 4-bolt main, a 2-bolt main could only spin to around 5,000 safely. So I was ticked off because I really wanted a lumpy cam that would let me spin at higher RPMs. So I did what anyone would do. I went to Facebook and I started asking the old guys what to do. Now I got really lucky here because overwhelmingly these guys were telling me that a big block can reliably spin to 6,500. Sometimes, some of them saying even to 7,500, even though I would not push that. They also said that if I wanted to, I could take it to a machine shop and turn it into a 4-bolt, which apparently is stronger than a stock 4-bolt if you do it. But since this is a budget build, I don't really need to because that's super expensive. I looked it up, it's like $800 for parts and labor, and that's a third of my budget. There's also a lot of gunk covering it. And it's a shame though, I can't reuse the oil pan because it came from a truck and I need a Chevelle oil pan to make sure that it actually fits into my car. So overall, I know this was not the most eventful video, but it'd be dumb if I skip parts. Now, next month when you guys tune in, you guys are gonna be seeing me take out everything, take out the rods, the pistons, the crankshaft, and then we're gonna take it to the machine shop. So that's all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to check out everything in the description down below. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. You know, it helps me out a ton. I know it's kind of late to say this, but, well, I've been saying this since the beginning of the year. If I reach 3,000 subscribers by December 31st, 2020, then I will let my girlfriend dye my hair whatever colors you guys want. If I reach 5,000, I'm shaving my head. So, there we go. Yeah, that's about it. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace.